May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Welcome to QuantBox Daily, your global macroeconomic Quant-in-a-Box. It's quite a mouthful. Say that 3 times fast. All right, so QuantBox is an amazing tool that collates fundamental data for you, giving you a fundamental bias so that you can then exercise that bias in the market using technicals. Very cool, right? The weekly trial is just $7.90, and I'll show you in this video how we use some of the tools that QuantBox has on offer. Now, previously, we've been looking at the market heat map, which shows you all of the most bullish pairs and bearish pairs. And then we've been using the fundamental bias of these different asset classes to identify opportunities in the market. What we're doing today is something slightly different. So we're going to go through the dollar pairs and the yen pairs, and maybe some of the crosses as well, right? So currently, euro dollar coming through with a sell, pound dollar strong sell, USD CAD buy, Aussie USD sell, and Kiwi dollar strong sell. Okay, so across the board, we're looking to sell euro dollar, sell pound dollar, buy USD CAD, sell Aussie dollar USD, and sell Kiwi dollar USD. Let's take a look. So here's Aussie dollar USD. As you can see, currently we're in this range over here. Price does look like it's breaking up. We have come off the monthly M2 earlier in the month. Target of that over there. Currently, we can see still ranging. Now, yesterday, coming off of the weekly M2, you can see on the M15 time frame, there was some opportunities to buy, but again, our bias is bearish. All right. So right now, looking at this, do we have an opportunity to sell? Our M15 time frame does not say bearish. You are currently at a daily M3, confluence with a weekly M3. If you got a lower low, lower high, then absolutely go for it. Currently being blocked out by these moving averages. Okay. What I would like to see personally as a really good indication of a nice trend or a nice opportunity would either be price closing at a bearish pivot point. So for example, the weekly M3 price is currently above the weekly M3. However, we could still hit lower down. Okay. Or price closing at resistance. Now, in terms of the daily time frame, you can see that yesterday price did close top of the range. So if you were looking to sell this down, that's fine. The problem is your pivot points. You can see here we opened the month above the M3, came all the way down, bulls bought at the M2. So bears sold here, bit of a counter trend profit taking trade. Bulls bought here, price currently contained. Okay. So from a pivot point perspective, you've got the central pivot point, but the weird thing is that if you look at price up until then, it's pretty bullish, right? So is this a higher low is really what you're asking yourself. Ultimately, are you able to exercise a bearish bias right now? The answer is no, not really. We don't really have pivot points on our side. Price is currently breaking above the monthly central, coming off a monthly M2, okay? If we had bearish pivot points on our side, then why didn't we come off the M3, break lower low, lower high, come off the central and go down? Now, if you believe that that's what's going on here, with this price breaking above the central, the question is, well, when price closed at the central over here, how come we didn't go lower down? How come price, instead of making a lower low and pushing down, instead price came down and then pushed higher? Okay, so right now I'm not getting a very bearish sense from Aussie dollar USD. Also looking at this in terms of the range, currently not at the top of the range. Resistance over there, resistance over there, resistance over there. What I'd really like to see is a role reversal. So if you take a line and draw on top of the 4-hour candle, you can see we don't really close at any type of resistance. Okay. So I'm going to wait on Aussie USD. I'm going to leave this alone for now. I don't think now is an optimum time to sell. If you disagree and you see price being at resistance and you see this resistance as being fine, you're looking for a lower low, lower high on the M15 time frame. Okay. But I do think this is going higher. Looking at the euro dollar, you can see still stuck inside this small range. Okay, also coming through the sell on QuantBox. You currently are at the weekly M3. From a daily perspective, I mean, like you're in this very tight range. It's not great. Also, you came off the R1. Price came down, broke the central, pulled back up to the central. Instead of coming down to the S1, bulls caught it at the M2. Okay, currently stuck between the 55 and the 21. Not a great place to be, and currently sideways. You do have a weekly M3 over here. So if you see that as an indication of sell down to the weekly target, which also has confluence with the monthly S1, then what you're looking for over here is you're looking for the lower low, lower high on the M15 time frame. Look at your M15 time frame right now. Look at your 2155. Definitely looking very bullish at the moment. Okay, you don't have the lower low, you don't have the lower high, you haven't got the 2155 cross. So a couple of things there that you certainly are not liking as a bear. Okay, despite the fact that you got this weekly M3. Okay, taking a look at the next dollar pair, pound dollar. Okay, still stuck inside the range, currently out of position for a sell. Okay, you've broken through the weekly M3. Now, the thing with pivot points, when you're going sideways, pivot points don't really work. The same with moving averages. When you're going sideways, moving averages are useless. They just denote momentum. Okay, you can see right now momentum very slow on the pound dollar. So you're not really looking for an M3 to M1. You're more likely looking for an R1 to S1. Currently, if you're looking for an R1 to S1, you're waiting for price to close at the R1 and then looking to take it down to the S1. Okay. Of course, you could also be playing, bulls could be playing an S1 to R1. All right. Currently, this looks sideways. Price came off the bottom of the range yesterday. Okay. The only thing you got to go on really now is your bias, your bearish bias on QuantBox. And right now, not in a very good position to sell. Price closing at resistance sounds good. Okay. Getting some kind of roll reversal inside of it. Look at this structure. Okay. Look how the structure is just completely sideways. Not great for trend traders. Okay. If you get to the top of the range and you decide you want to sell there, all you do is identify top of the range, price closes top of the range, M15, lower low, lower high, 2155 cross to the downside, pullback, sell. Okay. But recognize on the daily time frame, you are currently at the bottom of the range, and it's very likely the price is coming all the way up to the top. Okay, cool. Taking a look at the Kiwi dollar, same situation. You can see their price currently sitting at this M2. Price came off at M3, didn't make it to M1, currently sideways. And you can see here in terms of the H4 time frame, very much sideways. Now, yesterday, price came off the 55. I would not sell off the 55 because this is sideways. Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me. This needs to be trending for me to sell off moving averages. No pivot points there, no roll reversal there. Seems like a dodgy resistance. Okay. If you disagree, what you're looking for is lower lows and lower highs on the M15. So currently, you can see price pulled back to this resistance. You're waiting for this lower low to complete. Once that does, looking for a pullback to make a lower high, while making sure the lower low doesn't close at any kind of support left-hand side. And if it does, when price closes at resistance, price is neutral at the time of doing so. Ultimately, right now on the H1 time frame, you can see here, look at that low momentum. I wouldn't touch this with a barge pole, to be honest. Very low momentum, H1 and H4 and daily. I would just leave that alone. And also in terms of the selling, I don't have monthly pivot points on my side. Over there, perhaps top of the range, sure. Looking for price to continue down to the S1, fair enough. But right now you are in the middle of the range, no man's land. Okay. In terms of USD CAD, looking for a buy. Okay, so here slightly different. You are approaching the bottom of the range. Okay, you're not there yet though. Also have an M2 again. Pivot points in sideways markets aren't very reliable, but bottom of the range, sure, you could trade that if you wanted to. You can see here, if I sort of look left, I don't really have much roll reversals. I mean, you can see that price. Let's take this out here. Price breaks out of this range. Now it's down here. This is completely sideways. Look at your H1 time frame. H1 time frame is saying bearish. Okay, your 21 is below the 55. You currently got price consolidating in a buy zone for daily pivot points. On M15 time frame, completely sideways. So if you were looking to buy this, and let's say you're doing a daily M2 to daily M4, again, be careful of pivot points in sideways markets. Alternatively, you're just trying to buy back to the top of the range. Okay, you can see here, top of the range. we're looking at about, what, 34,592. So 34,592 sort of up here, okay? 34,592. Let's draw it out. It's all the way up here. You can see how far above the daily target that is, okay? But if you got a higher low, then, go for it. On a daily time frame, though, you can see that price hasn't really reached the bottom of the range. But the nice thing is that if this is continuing to be bearish on M15, you won't get the higher low. Price might come up, but then come straight down back into it and then continue going down. So you want to make sure that when you get the higher low, that you are closing at a roll reversal, and that roll reversal is represented by the top of the range. Okay. Just recognize the momentum. You don't have to trade when there's low momentum. You really don't. You could just sit back and wait for trends. Yes, I know it takes a long time, but at least you're not losing money when you shouldn't be losing money. All right, cool. Then Aussie USD, we've done all of them, right? We did all of them. Great. Okay, cool. Let's look at the yen pairs. So Aussie yen coming through neutral, CAD yen coming through neutral, Euro yen coming through strong sell, pound yen coming through sell, and Kiwi yen coming through neutral. Okay. So Aussie yen coming through neutral. You can see price shot out of yesterday's range. If you bought bottom of the range yesterday, then you could have waited for price to break out, pull back down to the 21 EMA. You can see here, if you zoom in, price moves sideways, price breaks out, pulls back. Not the easiest one to observe, okay? On an M5 time frame, let's have a look and see. We've got that over there. There's a little roll reversal, and there's price 21.55 cross, right? Nice, out of the range. You can see there, breaking out of the range, pulling down, and you could have bought that there, and you're taking that up to I reckon, profit-taking zone of an R2, seeing as you're coming off of the daily central. Okay, that's your target. And I would definitely scalp these because of the fact that you're stuck in a range, you're not sure what the direction is going to be. Okay. But you can see how long you're sitting and watching and sitting and watching and sitting and watching. Okay, cool. And that would have been, yeah, going into yesterday. Already, yeah, it would have actually been the previous day, the 10th. You could have got it yesterday as well. But it's difficult to read because you buy over here, it comes up, you close, buy over here, now suddenly you take it up there. Do you see how inconsistent this is, right? Which is why I'm saying, like, just give me some consistency. Now, I don't see this as being trending now. I see this as still ranging. Price was ranging over here. Now it's suddenly shot up over there. Like, just give me some indication of higher high, higher low, lower low, lower high. And again, the yen pairs are very high. Okay. So something that indicates that price can go in a direction for a set period of time, right? Now, of course, you've got neutrality on the Aussie yen, so you can do whatever you want. Now, you might decide that price is currently at M3, and you can take it down to the M1. Again, remember, pivot points in a sideways market, not very accurate. If you looked at yesterday and you saw price at the weekly M4, you decided to sell that, you can see you didn't get a double top. You didn't get lower lows, lower highs. So this doesn't say that this is over in terms of going up. But I wouldn't buy over here. For sure not. It looks very sideways to me. It looks very inconsistent. So neutral fundamentally, neutral technical. I think it remains so. CAD yen. We still spoke about price coming off this level over here, breaking through over here. You didn't get the price closing at the top of the range. Okay, cool. Now price is coming back down to the top of the range. Will it close there? Let's look at H4. You can see, like, it's just very, very, very inconsistent. I don't feel like I need to be smart enough to trade this. I think I need to be smart enough to recognize that it's not really something I want to trade. I think that's where the intelligence comes in. I don't think I need to prove, oh, look at me, I'm amazing. I can trade this and make money out of this difficult market. I don't think it needs to be a struggle, personally. I think that I can identify this and say, well, it's currently sideways and leave it alone, to be honest, until such time as it presents something that's actually tradable. What would that look like? A role reversal, a higher high, higher low. You can see here, euro yen still stuck inside. We've got at this M3, but you can see as we sell, price comes back up. Do we have any lower lows, lower highs? No, we don't. Okay. I'm not really going to go to lower time frame chart unless I can find a trade opportunity off a higher time frame. And I really don't see anything inside there. In terms of pound yen, price was a breakthrough yesterday. Okay. But on pound yen, we've got a bias of sell. So on pound yen, you are currently at a weekly profit-taking zone. If you're looking to take it down from here, you're looking for that lower low, lower high. However, identify the fact that price never double topped. Do you need to double top? Well, did we come off a roll reversal? We didn't. So it is highly likely that price comes all the way back up and then price comes down. It could happen over here. So if you're eyeing that out, keep an eye on that. Price sort of coming up and then dropping down. You are at a place where you could sell, and you do have a bearish bias on pound yen. Let's take a look at Kiwi yen. Kiwi yen also shot up yesterday. So in terms of yesterday, if you got that shoot, that move up, you see it happened, but to see it would be challenging. You can see that you're 21.55, 21.55. There's your sort of move up. Let's look at M5 over here, just see if M5 was clearer. Not particularly. You would have to guess. I don't like guessing, because the thing is, guessing over here looks so easy because of what happens afterwards, but you might have got the same indication over here, and luckily price went up, but you could have been unlucky before. Ultimately, there was 20.55 cross, price did come up. You can see here on the left-hand side, if you actually zoom in closer, you actually have got some roll reversals there. Okay. Let's just heighten this up. Okay, so if you took it off of that, fantastic job. Your bias on Kiwi yen is currently neutral, so you're totally fine. And you're taking it up to the R2. However, looking at this chart, not a massive fan. Okay, really not a massive fan. Sideways at best. All right. So what I recommend you do is go through on QuantBox, go through the rest of the biases for your cross currencies, and have a look and see. And I remember the reason why I use QuantBox is because you might find yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, I can see technically that I should buy this, but fundamentally it's bearish. Well, then what does that mean? It means you're either scalping, you're aware of the fact you're trading against the bias, or you don't trade. Because often you find yourself, oh, but technically it just seems so bullish, but your fundamentals are bearish. Well, if you had followed your fundamentals, you wouldn't have lost the trade. Okay. So go ahead and do that. And also use the market heat map as well before your market opens. You can see exactly which pairs. It's a great technique is use the market heat map, go through these, see your biggest winners, see your biggest losers, match up with your overall bias, and then identify things technically. But keep in mind, let's have a look at our USD ZAR, because yesterday USD ZAR was behaving differently. You're still here. So if you spoke about yesterday's USD ZAR, but R2, about this profit taking zone, selling, potentially selling. Let's see if we had any. Not yet. There's your cross. We came down to range. You could still be looking for a pullback sell on that. Just be aware of the fact that USD ZAR is currently bullish. But you can counter trade and trade at a profit taking zone. Nothing wrong with that. In terms of Euro ZAR, Not coming through on the QuantBox. Euros are over here. We still said potentially come back down to support. Price is ranging over here. Okay, cool. And the euro pound was the other one that was different. Price was at support. I still said I'm not going to, buying down here makes sense. Selling over here makes sense. Trading over here makes no sense. You can see you did get your higher high, higher low. Okay. Higher high, higher low. So you could have bought that, but you would have lost. What did your 4 hour look like at the time? Remember, I still said your 21.55 on the 4 hour doesn't match what's going on in the H1. Like I still said, I don't like this trade. It just seems a bit dodgy. I'm going to leave it alone. Again, buying down here, taking a target makes sense. Selling over here, take down makes sense. When you've now missed this trade and you've missed this trade, now you're trying to figure out a trade over here, doesn't make sense. Okay. Cool. All right. So go through the rest of your pairs team with your with QuantBox and have a look and see. Like, ask yourself honestly, are you currently in a situation where you're trading a trend? If you are, if it's bullish and it's currently in M2, then look on your lower time frames. If it's bearish and you're in M3, look at your time frames. But remember, observe what happens when you try and use pivot points in a range. See if you get to target. Stay disciplined, stay patient, stay liquid. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time.